All right, guys, welcome back. 1776 or bust. And on the table, you are looking at two guns. This review is going to be on this one. This one we're going to bring in just in a few minutes here to kind of give you a comparison size. But what you see here in my Massaro holster is a Sig P365. That's right, the gun I said I would never buy. It's kind of interesting because here it is. So just so you know, the gun is checked and clear. But this is the Sig P365 in the stainless finish. And as you guys can see, it's not a super shiny finish. It's actually a fairly subdued, sort of matte-like finish, which I think is actually better. I'm glad they didn't go with that super shiny, you know, high polished stainless on here. So it's actually a nice flat, kind of a matte finish to it. So I don't foresee getting glare from the sun or anything like that. Obviously, it comes with your typical Sig X-ray sights. So you've got your low sight rear in the back, and also you've got that nice bright green in the front. I have to say it's a very nice combination of sights. I have said that in the past when I did my X-Carry that the sights seem very low to the slide. Again, that's no different there. You can see how very low this is. But again, it is a micro compact, so you don't want a sight like that's off the slide 5 feet high. So as you guys know, this is the initial impression video, and this is basically my out of the box, what do I think about this gun? And then ultimately I will shoot it and give you the after impression. Now, overall, I can understand why people like this gun so much. You know, I've been kind of hard on this gun. I didn't really want this gun because I wasn't really sure if this was a gun that was going to fit me per se. But, you know, after having this gun for a little while and kind of playing around with it and just kind of walking around with it, I haven't really carried it full time because it hasn't been shot. But I have to say, I understand why a lot of people do like this gun. First off, if you live in a free state, you're getting 12 rounds in a very small package. As you guys can see, if I put that in the palm of my hand, it's that small. You know, unfortunately, I live in New York, so this is a 10-round mag capacity. So this little guy here will store 10 rounds in this magazine. And one of the things I wanted to show you, just comparison size, to show you that, boy, they really hit a home run with this is a M&P 2.0 subcompact magazine. And if you look at the difference, the 2.0 is a lot thicker. This one holds 10 rounds, and this one holds 10 rounds. So I have to give credit where credit is due, and Sig did a great job kind of engineering these magazines to be really as slim as they can be in such a small package, but still have quite a bit of capacity, comparatively speaking, to other guns on the market. Again, when you put this, if I can actually see it, when you put this gun in the magazine, you're going to know that it is super tiny. There's no escaping this. This is a micro compact, so you're not going to get a lot of real estate. But interestingly enough, I can actually get 3 fingers on this gun. So even though it looks super tiny, it is actually manageable, and you get a pretty solid purchase. Now, this may not be for everybody. It's going to be based upon your hand size and how fat your fingers are, but I can actually get all 3 fingers on the flat base plate. This here is going to be their base plate with the pinky extension, this little thing right here. And what you're going to notice is that it gives you just a little bit more bite, but again, keeps it at a minimal. One of the things that I noticed about this gun, and I think why this gun is able to be concealed so well, obviously for the size, but it's the way that this grip is angled. I mean, there is a pretty drastic cutoff in the back here. So, for example, I had the 2.0 subcompact out with me, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I think one of the things that makes this gun very good as well is the fact that the way they cut this angle out on this grip. And if you notice here, it's very similar. As a matter of fact, if you actually see a straight line going on the angle here. So on a gun this small, you're actually able to get 12 rounds if you live in a free state, just like this one. And then both, comparatively speaking, obviously you have your double stack versus this whatever stack you want to call it. But you can see the difference in size. I mean, this is much thicker than the Sig P365. You can even see the slide is much thicker. Again, when you look at the slide length, you can see a massive difference. Keep in mind, this is a 3.6 versus, I don't even know what this is on the Sig, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, you definitely can see the difference in the slide length. Now, how does the gun fit in my hand? Well, it's kind of interesting. It's actually really comfortable. And this is very surprising to me because, again, I was not a big fan of this gun. I felt that this gun would not necessarily be something that I would entertain due to the fact that you just don't get a good enough grip on the handgun. After handling the gun for a few days, actually, I haven't even had this for a few weeks yet, but a few days, I'm really realizing that this grip, although it is tiny and although this gun is super small, the grip still manages to give you enough room so you can get a full purchase on it, or a full grip on it. And just having that ability to kind of close in with your support hand, you should have no difficulty in actually controlling this. Now, keep in mind, this is the initial impression, so that has yet to be determined. With the trigger, the out-of-the-box trigger, I'm not going to lie, guys, not very impressed. This was originally pulling at around 7 pounds, so it was quite heavy. You had kind of a rolling brake, and you know, it just didn't feel that smooth. It actually felt like there was a lot of grinding going on. The reset was crisp, and it was short so far with dry firing it. However, in all disclosure, I've already put M-Carbo springs in this thing, and right now this is pulling slightly over 4 pounds, and it has made a dramatic improvement on the take-up of the trigger, which you can see right here, and a nice solid brake. And then more importantly, here's your reset. That's a super, super nice reset. The reset prior to that was, it was okay. It was positive. But this reset now with the springs and having the adjustments in there has made this gun, in my opinion, even more desirable out of the box than prior. In regards to fit and finish, I mean, everything is pretty decent. I mean, there's really not a lot to complain about. It's a fairly simple takedown. Lock the slide back, drop the takedown lever, and then you don't even have to pull the trigger, and it comes right off. Again, fit and finish is very nice on the stainless slide. The barrel looks pretty good. The internal pieces here, again, nothing big and surprising there. I don't think there's anything there that should surprise you. What I did do is when I did take this down, this little safety lever right here, right there, if you guys, hopefully that'll come in the camera, right there. This thing, I've noticed that there have been some videos where people have complained that operating the slide with no ammunition in it and, you know, having to put the slide back in the battery and all that other stuff. A lot of people have been noticing that this is a very sticky slide. What I mean by that is it's a little difficult to operate, almost like it's getting stuck. Since I took the gun apart to have to put the springs in, I've noticed that that problem has gone away considerably. I'm not sure what was causing that, but it is definitely something that I did notice when I took this out of the box for the first time. It was impossible to rack the slide this way. I had to do an overhand in order for it to rack the slide. And what I did notice was that it felt like almost something was getting hung up on here. Since you have to remove that internal safety in there to get to the springs, or I should say the sear spring, I noticed right away that that seems to have disappeared once I changed the springs out. So I don't know what that was, but I can definitely feel that there's been a much easier solution to what was going on prior. But overall, so far, so good. I have not really noticed anything that would make me disturbed about the, you know, how this thing was constructed. Again, obviously, I know there has been some issues with past, or I could say earlier generations of this handgun. So far, I have not seen that, although, again, I have not shot it. You know, what are my initial thoughts about this gun and how it's going to handle? Well, first off, it is small. So I am going to expect that this might snap a little bit. Again, I could be completely wrong on that. And some people have said that for such a tiny gun, it actually shoots rather flat. And I think that's going to be a good thing if that's what I'm feeling with the gun. Obviously, the slide is very short, so I'll probably bring the targets a little bit closer in than normal just to try to get a little more consistency with accuracy. But from everything I've heard from other reviewers and read, this gun tends to be pretty accurate. So my initial impression is that now I know why people like this gun so much. It is a tiny package, maximum ammunition capabilities, which I think is very good and very intriguing in such a small package. But honestly, I'm just not sure yet what to think about it. One of the things I noticed about the undercut here is, as you can see right there, is that unlike the other SIGs that I have, the X Carry and now the X Compact, this little undercut right here is pretty shallow. Doesn't go that deep. So one of the things I noticed is I want to grip this gun. It doesn't seem like this knuckle here feels really good on the gun. And the reason why I'm saying that is because where this undercut is on the trigger guard, it stops abruptly here. If this was to be extended just a hair further forward, I think people with larger fingers probably would feel a little bit more comfort with that. Again, that could just be me. Everybody's going to have their own opinion on that, but that is something that I noticed. I mean, overall, this seems to be a really ideal carry option for a lot of people. I'm not sure where I stand on it just yet. However, hopefully I will be able to give you a nice, honest post review when I shoot it. But right now, again, like I said, I get it. I understand why people like this gun so much. Interestingly enough, obviously this is a 2.0 sub. The shape of both of these is fairly close. I mean, the grip angle is almost identical, except you have a little bit more of a hump back here. Comfort-wise, I'm not going to lie to you guys, so far I felt like this is a little bit more comfortable in my hand. I just feel like I got enough room, enough breathing room with this finger here. But again, that has something to do with the size of this gun. Remember, it's a lot thicker. It's a lot bigger than this P365. Interestingly enough, even with this gun here having a longer extension here for the pinky, the P365 actually feels a little bit better in my hand. And the reason why I say that is because this feels like, even though it's shorter, it feels like it's hitting the right spot in the palm of my hand. Whereas with the 2.0 sub, it just extends a little bit further down. So it kind of hits in that one spot there on my hand fat right there. Going to the flat mags, again, kind of interesting to see the difference between these two, a micro compact and a legit subcompact. You can see here again that I actually have more hand room on the P365 than I do on the 2.0 sub. So as you can see, my 365 hand, I got that pinky that is dangling, but still able to get that. And then over here on the 2.0, my pinky has some room, but you can see that it's barely on the shelf of that mag base plate. So my initial impression so far is fairly positive. I mean, this is a pretty interesting gun. I think there's a reason why people are favoring this, because it's so small. It has got to be super easy to carry this because it's so light, so thin, so low profile. So it's going to be interesting how it shoots. So tell me what you think about this P365, guys. What are your thoughts on it so far? Has it been a remarkable success or a miserable failure? I mean, I think right now, engineering wise, this was a really, really good invention for Sig. The fact that you're getting these tiny magazines into this tiny little body, but still being able to carry anywhere from 10 to 12 rounds. And then of course, with the extended rounds, I think it comes with 15 round magazines as well. But overall, it's pretty good. I mean, takedown is super easy. One pin right there, everything else comes out. So again, I think Sig did a good job. It's got this modular system in it as well as the other Sigs has. And I can't wait to shoot it. So tell me what you think. Leave those comments down below. And I'll see you next time, guys, coming up soon. And as always, everyone, I hope you have a great night. Stay safe, and freedom is never free.